Hello and welcome to our Education Watch. This is your program that gives you the insights into the education sector across the country. Someone is hellbound to disorganize education systems in our republic. And I've said this severally, and if you look at, or if you can go back to my previous clips, I talked about the government capitation in high school and also at the university. But maybe someone or some of us are not telling the President and the Republic of Kenya the truth about what is happening. The new capitation at high school and the capitation at the university is a disaster. The worst of it all is that capitation at the university that is becoming a very big challenge, especially to our students who have been admitted to the universities. Remember that many of those students that have been admitted to the universities are now pulling out. Parents are pulling out. And there is a new trend that we really need to check on. The number of students that are joining TVET vis-a-vis those who are joining universities. There could be a reason. One of the reason is that the capitation as it stands now, university education is becoming extremely expensive when we go by the current university funding model. Let me give you a case in point that a student that has been admitted to the university to study medicine and surgery is supposed to pay 520,000 as fee. That is not pocket money. That's a lot of money, and many of the parents cannot afford that kind of fee. But let's take the other side that the government is paying this fee for the students. And remember that at the end of every year, they tell us that the government shall have paid 364. That is for band 1, the most needy student. So the government will pay 364 for the fee. And the balance actually will be paid by the parents. Now, if you look at this amount that will be paid by the government, they're talking about loans that will be given to our students. They're talking about help loan for upkeep that will be given to our students. But at the end of the year, our students shall have accumulated in loan a maximum of 190,000. And that is not pocket money, that is a lot of money. Now, if you multiply that by the number of years that the students will take at the university, chances are very high that the loan that the students shall have accumulated at the end of the 6-year course, if it is medicine, then shall be around 1.14 million shillings. That is a lot of money. And you can imagine a situation where you are through with your education at the university, you actually thrown into the job market, there are no jobs. The moment you look for a job, and maybe it takes around 3 years to get that job, and then when you get it, you have a loan on your shoulders of 1.14 million shillings. You get so disoriented because you start your life with loan. The president should be candid with us. If he's really keen on reducing the debt that the Kenya has, then why is he exposing our children to debts when they finish education? That you start your life with the debts, yet the government is trying as much as it can to reduce the amount of our debt as a country. Why would we want our children to accumulate debts so that at the end of their 6-year course, if they're taking medicine and they're thrown into the job market, they begin their career with a burden of over 1 million debt on their shoulders? Is it the right thing to do? It is not. Now, secondly, is that the university administrators are now celebrating the new model because they know that they will be receiving this money. But as they receive this money, where does this money come from? This money comes from the government. Where does the government get this money from? The government gets this money from that poor family, that poor child that has joined the university, and is given in advance, but he will be paid as a loan to the government. So look at that. And then it's just a model that has been designed to make sure that the government does not participate at all in the university education of our children. These people were smart when they were designing this model. Because at the end of the day, it is our poor students who will be paying this as a loan, once they begin to work. The government simply gives money to the university in advance, but this loan will be paid by our students or our children who have joined college. So what are we trying to say? That the government is actually trying to abscond its duties and actually passing it over to our children, but they will pay this money in terms of loan. So I want to highlight this, and let us talk about this. Let the parents talk about this. Let those who make education policies talk about this. Let the unions talk about this, because it's a disaster in waiting. It will lead to depressions when these students, these children, shall have realized that they were educated and there was a loan of 1 million on their back. So these are things that we really need to look into before we accept the model that the government is actually talking about. Yesterday I heard the president talk about the GCs, discuss with the GCs. I even talked about this model and saying that the university administrators are no longer complaining because they have the money. But let me ask you, at whose expense? At the expense of that poor child that the money is given in advance and it is extremely expensive, and at the end of the day they will pay back this money when they get employed, that employment that is not even guaranteed by the same government. So I think someone is not telling the president the truth. Our people, our unions, our parents do not know the truth of this model. It is a big failure and it's going to mess us up. 6 years from now, there will be a total mess when these students shall have failed to pay this loan that is tagged on their shoulders. It is too much, and the government needs to take heed. Listen to us. We are in the education sector. We listen to what is happening, and we know what is happening. Part of the reasons why many students are not joining TVETs, it is not that the TVETs have better skills. Of course they do, that we accept, but that is not the only reason. Another reason is that the capitation, the university funding, the UF is extremely expensive for most of the parents whose children have actually been able to score grades that allow them to do these very expensive courses. They cannot do it now. They have to resort to TVETs. Yet the government is just watching and praising a model that is very destructive. Thank you, and be blessed. I hope this one opens your mind so that we begin to look at this model afresh. It is a discussion that I would really want us to engage in. And I would expect that this video goes viral. Let us listen to our deeper sense. Let us listen to our deeper minds, even as we ventilate into the new UF, the so